May I also recognize in our midst the representative of Director, Plateau State Fire Service, CFS Damban Samuel. You are welcome. I also recognize the police band from State Police Command. You are welcome. you representing the John? Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me recognize the presence of the acting Gomre Kuru, Da Pius Jugu. You're welcome, sir. We also have in our midst the Commander 551 Air Force Station, Jos, Air Commodore F.O. Bassi. You are welcome. I have the representative of the Controller of Immigration, Ayuba Ishaya, Deputy Controller of Immigration. You are welcome, sir. And I have the Director General, Plateau State ICT Development Agency, Engineer Datong Dominic Guama. You are welcome, sir. Last week, we just concluded our visit to the ICT Development Agency. Thank you very much for having us. Thank you. I'd like to recognize the presence in our midst, Sector Commander of Federal Road Safety Corps, Plateau State Command, Chief Route Commander Shotim Miri. You're welcome. I also have Guamre Zhang Christopher Manchan. You're welcome, sir. While we await the arrival of the special guest of honor, I want to once again request that we switch off our phones or put them on silence. And again, by the time the special guest of honor arrives, we are all expected to rise. Let me quickly go through the program for the benefit of those that don't have it. Immediately the special guest of honor arrives, we'll play the national anthem or recite the national anthem. Thereafter, I will do the introduction of dignitaries. This will be followed by welcome remarks by the Director General of the National Institute. I will introduce the Senior Executive Course 48 nominees. Next will be the goodwill messages. First by His Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mufwang, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, and other dignitaries that will give their goodwill messages. This will be followed by the administration of inauguration oaths on the nominees by the Chief Judge of Plateau State, Honorable Justice David Mann. Then the special guest of honor will give his address and formally inaugurate Senior Executive Course 48, 2026. Then we'll recite the national anthem. Thereafter, we'll file out for group photographs at the photo stand. After the group photograph, we'll have light refreshment, and that will mark the end of the inauguration activities. Then by 1200 hours, the nominees, then will be participants, are expected to be in the hall for inaugural lecture. Thank you. at the airport. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have in our midst this morning His Royal Majesty Da Jacob Giambuba, Commander of the Federal Republic, the Gbongbon Jos and Chairman of Plateau State Council of Chiefs and Emirs, ably represented by His Royal Highness Paul Tadi Tok, the Guamrel Haipan. You are welcome, sir. While we'll await the arrival of the special guest of honor, if you would like to ease yourself, you can quickly do that and come back to the hall. Thank you. You have 2 minutes to do that. 2 minutes to do that. Let's settle down. Let's settle down. This one. Call them. Let them come inside. Nominees will come inside. Settle down in your seats. Can we settle down, please? Settle down, settle down. Can we settle down, please? Accompanying His Royal Highness Paul Taddy Talk, I have the following Royal Highnesses. His Royal Highness Edward Gian Bot Dagwamre Barkin Ladi. You are welcome, sir. His Royal Highness Da Samuel Jock Dwagwamre Riyom. You are welcome, sir. His Royal Highness Da Gian Balak Gwamre Vang. You are welcome, sir. I also have His Royal Highness Da David Buna Gwamre Foron. You are welcome, sir. The last but not the least, we have His Royal Highness Da Emmanuel Pam Gwam Kabong and Acting Gwamre Du. You are welcome, sir. Police band, can entertain us, please. Let me recognize the presence in our midst of Secretary, the Acting Secretary, Director of Administration, the National Institute, Alhaji Idris Adamu. You're welcome, sir. I also have the Acting Director of Research, Professor Umar Musa, MNI. You're welcome, sir. The Acting Institute Librarian, Professor Lily Eziela. You're welcome. The national anthem, please. Operation Safe Haven, ably represented by Brigadier General R.K. Apata, Commander 3 Division Provost Group, the Chief Judge of Plateau State, Honorable Justice David Mann, the Director General of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Professor Ayo Christopher Omotayo, Professor of Environmental Sustainability, His Royal Majesty Da Jacob Giambuba, Commander of the Federal Republic, the Gbongbon Jos and Chairman of Plateau State Council of Chiefs and Emirs, ably represented by His Royal Highness Paul Tadi Tok, the Gwamre Haipang, other Royal Highnesses present here, the Acting Secretary, Director of Administration, NIPS, Alhaji Idris Adamu, the Acting Director of Studies, Barrister Salman Nima Man, MNI, ably represented by Brigadier General A. Idris, MNI. Acting Director of Research, Professor Musa Umar, MNI. Acting Institute Librarian, Professor Lily Eziala. Members of Directing Staff, members of Research Directorate, Commander 551 Air Force Station, Air Commodore F.O. Bassi, the Acting Gomre Kuru, our host, the Pius Jugu, representative of the Commissioner of Police, Plateau State Command, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Nengi Jeftan, representative of the Controller of Immigration, Plateau State Command, DCI Ayuba Ishaya, Controller of Corrections, Plateau State Command, NJ Fado, Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety, Plateau State, represented by Sotim Mary, Route Commander. The Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, NESCO Limited, Engineer Evans Misiska. The Director General, Plateau State ICT Development Agency, Engineer Datong Dominic. The Business Manager, Jos Electricity Distribution Company, Bukuru, Mr. Ayodeji. NIPS community present here, nominees of Senior Executive Course 48, 2026, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I'm Brigadier General Latif Adekunle Jimo, retired, MNI. I'm a member of the directing staff and the anchor for this morning inauguration ceremony. On behalf of the Director General, management, staff, and nominees of Senior Executive Course 48, 2026, I have the singular honor and privilege to welcome you all to the auditorium of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, the venue of this inauguration ceremony. Today marks another milestone in the history of the National Institute as we are about to witness the inauguration ceremony of the Senior Executive Course 48, 2026. The nominees of Senior Executive Course 48 have been taken through the course orientation last week. This morning, in continuation of the program, the Senior Executive Course 48 will be formally inaugurated. We shall now commence fully the inauguration ceremony with the introduction of dignitaries. Let me begin with our special guest of honor, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mufwan, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, Her Excellency Ngo Josephine Pio. You are welcome. I also recognize the presence of members of Plateau State Executive Council present here, the representative of General Officer Commanding 3rd Armored Division, Nigerian Army, Major General E.F. Oyinlola, ably represented by Brigadier General R.K. Apata, Commander, 3rd Division Provost Group. You are welcome. The Chief Judge of Plateau State, Honorable Justice David Mind. You are welcome, sir. His Royal Majesty Elder Jacob Giambuba, Commander of the Federal Republic, the Bongo Jos and Chairman of Plateau State Council of Chiefs and Emirs, ably represented this morning by His Royal Highness Paul Tadi Tok Gomre Haipang. Other Royal Highnesses present here, and our host, the acting Gomre Kuru, the Pius Jugu. All other important dignitaries, you are also well recognized. Let me now come back fully home with some introductions, beginning with the management team. The management team is headed by the Director General, who is also the Chief Executive Officer of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Professor Ayo Christopher Omotayo. Next is the Acting Secretary Director of Administration, NIPS, Alhaji Idris Adamu. I have the Acting Director of Studies, Barrister Salman Niman Man, MNI, ably represented by Brigadier General A. Idris, MNI. The Acting Director of Research, Professor Musa Umar, MNI. The Acting Institute Librarian, Professor Lily Ezeala. I will now call on members of the faculty, comprising the directing staff and research fellows, to please stand up for recognition. Your Excellencies, Your Excellency, these are the ladies and gentlemen that constitute the workforce that will drive the Senior Executive Course 48 in the next 10 months. They include senior military and police officers, visiting professors who are directing staff, research fellows, including myself. A round of applause for the members of the faculty. I would also like to recognize other administrative staff of the Institute, our host, the Kuru community. You are all welcome. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I now most respectfully invite the Director General of the National Institute, Professor Ayo Christopher Omotayo, to give his welcome remarks. The DG, sir.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, represented by the Deputy Governor of the state, Ongor Josephine Pugh. I welcome you here this morning, ma'am. Permit me to stand on existing protocols so that we do not waste too much time, and I will go straight to my speech. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State here represented, the Chief Judge of Plateau State, distinguished guests, Chairman Governing Council of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in absentia, management and directing staff of the Institute, all the senior staff of the National Institute, nominees of the Senior Executive Course 48, 2026, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with profound pleasure and great optimism for the future of our nation that I welcome you to the formal inauguration of the Senior Executive Course 48, 2026 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru. Today's ceremony marks the official commencement of what is going to be a rigorous 10-month intellectual and leadership engagement designed to sharpen strategic thinking, deepen policy insight, and strengthen the capacity of senior executives to respond effectively to the complex governance and development of challenges confronting Nigeria. On behalf of the Governing Council, management, directing staff, and the entire NIPS community, I warmly congratulate the nominees of Senior Executive Course 48, 2026 on your successful selection. May I say that your admission into this institute is a recognition of your professional accomplishments, leadership potential, and the strategic importance of the roles you occupy in national life. It is also a demonstration of the confidence reposed in you by your respective organizations and also by the Nigerian state. Participation in the Senior Executive Course is not merely an academic exercise. It is a call to national service that demands intellectual discipline, ethical leadership, openness to diverse perspectives, and an unwavering commitment to the collective good of our country. The study theme for Senior Executive Course 48, 2026, Orange Economy and Entrepreneurship for Sustainable Development in Nigeria, is both timely and strategic in the context of Nigeria's current developmental trajectory. As our nation grapples with the urgent need to diversify its economy, reduce employment, empower young people, and build sustainable livelihoods, the orange economy presents a compelling and largely underutilized pathway. Sectors such as culture, creativity, tourism, media, fashion, film, music, gastronomy, and digital innovation are no longer peripheral to economic planning. They are indeed increasingly central to inclusive growth, social cohesion, and national competitiveness in a global knowledge-driven economy. The orange economy challenges traditional notions of development that rely predominantly on extractive resources and public sector dominance. Instead, it invites policymakers to recognize creativity, ideas, talent, and cultural heritage as strategic economic assets. It requires the formulation of coherent policies that protect intellectual property, incentivize innovation, promote entrepreneurship, and translate cultural expressions into measurable economic value. Throughout the duration of this course, you will be expected to interrogate these issues critically. You'll be expected to examine global best practices and adapt relevant lessons to Nigeria's unique socioeconomic, cultural, and institutional realities. Your recent orientation tour across Plateau State was deliberately designed to ground your engagement with the study theme in practical realities. Plateau State, with its rich cultural heritage, tourism assets, creative incentives, and strong traditional institutions, offers a living laboratory for understanding how creativity, culture, governance, and peace intersect in the development process. The insights gained from your interactions with government agencies, creative institutions, traditional authorities, and local communities are intended to enrich your research, deepen your analysis, and inform the quality of policy recommendations that will emerge from this course. I wish to once again express our sincere appreciation to the Plateau State government for its consistent support, hospitality, and partnership with the National Institute. I think we need to clap for Plateau State. Thank you. For all my time here so far, the Plateau State government has always been a strong pillar of support. Excellency, ma'am. Kindly take our goodwill back to the governor. We have a lot of respect for him, and we appreciate all that he has done for the National Institute. Distinguished participants, the next experience is intellectually demanding, and this is deliberately so. Over the next 10 months, you will be required to engage intensely with policy problems, undertake rigorous interdisciplinary researches, participate in structured debates, and work collaboratively with colleagues drawn from diverse professional and institutional backgrounds. You will be challenged to move beyond familiar assumptions. You will be expected to interrogate complex national and global issues and also produce policy options that are practical, evidence-based, and implementable. The objective is not an academic abstraction, but we care about the policy relevance and the national impact it is capable of making. I urge you to approach this course with humility, curiosity, and a strong sense of purpose. Be prepared to question established orthodoxies, including those of yours. Engage constructively with differing viewpoints and draw strength from the diversity of experiences within your course. Above all, remain constantly mindful that the ultimate value of engagement at NIPS lies in its contribution to national development and its potential to improve the lives of the ordinary Nigerians. Remember, you have an opportunity to help solve Nigeria's challenges. You are no longer going to be on the street or on the stand criticizing government. You will know why government probably does not work all the time, why government cannot meet all expectations at all the times. You will be here with us, and you will be engaged fully with what governance is about. To our resource persons, facilitators, and directing staff, I express my deep appreciation for your continued dedication to the Institute's mandate. Your scholarship, mentorship, and professional commitment remains the foundations of NIP's reputation as Nigeria's foremost policy think tank and a center of excellence for strategic leadership development. In conclusion, and before the course is formally declared open, I want to charge you, distinguished nominees. To make the most of this unique opportunity, use this period to refine your thinking, strengthen your leadership capacities, and renew your commitment to the service of our nation with integrity, vision, and courage. I had said a few things last night, and I will not repeat those things. We are supposed to bring on our patriotic fervor to ensure that we find solutions to the problems of our country. Not any group can find all solutions at once. You have the opportunity now, under the theme of the creative economy, to do your best in providing solutions, very creative and solutions that will be effective to the government of the day, so that our country can be where we want it to be. The opportunity to complain has been taken. This is now an opportunity for you to act on those things you have always wished. It's an opportunity for you to challenge yourself and look for that creative outburst of energy that would help us solve Nigeria's problem. I want to wish you a successful, enriching, and transformative stay at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. And before I stop, let me inform us that from all the statistics I've received on your medical fitness, on your preparedness intellectually, I am personally convinced that all of you being nominees Excellency, they are trying to blackmail me. What if I conclude by saying that I've now found all of the nominees unworthy of becoming participants? Anyway, the good thing is that the last report I got was from the head of head of medicals here, and we don't make all of our issues public. But of the 105 participants, 98 were declared fully medically fit. Seven of us have a few problems that are manageable. And I want to assure you that for the 7, you'll be informed, you'll be requested to meet with the Director of Medical Services, so that we can fashion out for you a course of medical treatment that will solve some problems you never knew existed. But I have the assurances of the Director of Medical Services that those issues are very manageable issues. So medically, you have all been found fit. A few others may be asked not to engage in full physical activities unless they wish to do so. They will also be informed. That is the only other report we have not received is that of the DSS. And then when we get those reports, you will be informed of the outcome, whether positive or negative. But so far, we do not have any reasons to believe that those reports will be negative. I want to thank you for listening, and I want to welcome you once more to the National Institute. Thank you.
Can we appreciate the Director General once again? The next item in our program is introduction of Senior Executive Course 48 nominees. our special guest of honor, ma, it is important to know the composition of those that were carefully selected to address the theme of this year, which is Orange Economy and Entrepreneurship for Sustainable Development in Nigeria. The nominees will now do self-introduction, starting with the first person in the front row.
Your Excellency, I am Colonel N. Isua, sponsored by the Nigerian Army.
I am Nana Fatima Mandora, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Group Captain H.Z. Usman, sponsored by the Nigerian Air Force.
I am Real One Adedotun Ogunwolu, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Isoken Omo, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Deputy Commissioner of Police, Umere Innocent, sponsored by Nigerian Police Force.
I am Navy Captain G.M. Dalem, sponsored by the Nigerian Navy.
DCP Olalekan Odumosu, sponsored by Nigerian Police Force.
I am Dr. Margaret Epo, sponsored by the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation. Thank you.
I am Nakwada Aliu, sponsored by the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation.
I am Brigadier General B.I. George, sponsored by the Nigerian Army.
I am Dr. Abubakar Ahmad, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Sani Baba, sponsored by the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation.
I am Dr. Hamid Mamambello, sponsored by the Nigerian Guild of Editors.
I am Chukwu Mahanacho, sponsored by the Imo State Government.
I am Ndayako Bagudu Muhammad, sponsored by the Defense Intelligence Agency.
I am Stephen Adeoye Adeyemo, sponsored by the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation.
I am Violet Adama Kabruk, sponsored by National Council of Women's Societies.
I am Navy Captain T.G. Abusi, sponsored by the Nigerian Navy.
I am Dr. Ebonwonu Jeremiah Chidebere, sponsored by the Enugu State Government.
I am Colonel I. Sadiq, sponsored by Nigerian Army.
I am Pierre Salim Ali Baba, sponsored by Kano State Government.
I am Group Captain C.J. Mbam, sponsored by the Nigerian Air Force.
I am Daruba Paul Edward, sponsored by the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation.
I am Yahaya Yusuf, sponsored by the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria.
I am Awe Oludayo, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Dr. Kabir Abba, sponsored by Nigeria Revenue Service.
I am Dr. Muhammad Bashir Bolajoko, sponsored by Presidency.
I am Dr. Olumide Odejide, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Agbo Emate, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Aneke Benson Igozim, sponsored by Nigeria Immigration Service.
I am Beatrice Andungwe Motambo, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Benue State, sponsored by Benue State Government.
I am Deputy Commissioner of Police, Modu Baba Suleiman, sponsored by Nigerian Police Force.
I am Colonel A.U. Ahmed, sponsored by the Nigerian Army.
I am Ambassador Badiwale Adebowale Johnson, sponsored by the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation.
I am Ife Banjo Temitope Michael, sponsored by the Chartered Institute of Administration.
Excellency, I am Mustafa Abubakar, sponsored by the Office of the Head of the Service of the Federation. Thank you.
I am Dr. Nkeruwem Isaac Akman, sponsored by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
I am Chike Ezema, sponsored by the Defense Intelligence Agency.
I am Eric Juyo, sponsored by the Taraba State Government.
I am Afolake Lawal, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Navy Captain Obi Anyekwa, sponsored by the Nigerian Navy.
I am Frank Ayoroswo Omoko, sponsored by Delta State Government.
1 minute.
I am Deputy Commissioner of Police Amabua Mohammed, sponsored by the Nigerian Police.
I am Colonel Eso Fagbemi, sponsored by the Nigerian Army.
I'm Dr. Adeshola Olajo, sponsored by the President.
I am Dr. Tunde Lawal, sponsored by the Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association.
I am Dr. Fumi Babizina Shaye, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am DCP Ikenna Ezani, sponsored by Nigerian Police.
I am Commandant Umar J.G. Mohammed, sponsored by Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps.
I am Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Zikrullah, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Navy Captain B.Y. Ibrahim, sponsored by the Nigerian Navy.
I am Issa Bukar, sponsored by Yobe State Government.
I am Dr. Agogo Emmanuel Agogo, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Colonel A.D. Al-Hassan, sponsored by the Nigerian Army.
I am Dr. Monique Dorothy, sponsored by Department of State Services.
I am Assistant Commercial, Federal Road Safety Corps, Ahmed Umar, sponsored by Federal Road Safety Corps.
I am Dr. David Emumena, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Colonel O.S. Azike, sponsored by the Nigerian Army.
I am Abdulkadri Moshood Olanrewaju, sponsored by the Department of State Services.
I am Dr. Anthony Idibe, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Dr. Sule Mundi, sponsored by National Commission for Colleges of Education.
I am Dr. Sueva Salim, sponsored by Kebbi State Government.
I am DCP Isa Garba, sponsored by Nigerian Police Force.
I am Group Captain Gani Fatai Anila, sponsored by the Nigerian Air Force.
I am Navy Captain Z.I. Agbaji, sponsored by the Nigerian Navy.
I am Dr. Osaho Inabulele, sponsored by the Nigerian Medical Association.
I am Bilkisu Omeneke Oraji, sponsored by Head of Service from Kogi State.
I am Controller Shidali Graham Musa, sponsored by Nigerian Customs Service.
I am Yop Shom Rwang, sponsored by the Plateau State Government.
Sponsored by Nigeria Correctional Service.
I am Oluyele Delano, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Colonel M.D. Olasheni, sponsored by the Nigerian Army.
I am Okeleke Jane Chinwe, sponsored by the Office of Head of Civil Service of the Federation.
I am Engineer Aliyu Damo, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Dr. Jibrin Balarebe Suleiman, sponsored by the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
I am Colonel O. Otabo, sponsored by the Nigerian Army.
I am Fumilayo Adefepo, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Navy Captain S.M. Jibia, sponsored by the Nigerian Navy.
I am Professor Idris Mohammed, sponsored by the National Universities Commission.
I am Victor Echuoku, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Wale Olaoye, sponsored by the Ministry of Defense.
I am Dr. Izuebu Ogochukwu Uju, sponsored by the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors.
I am Deputy Commissioner of Police, Taiwo Kasum, sponsored by the Nigerian Police Force.
I am Colonel M.H. Abdullahi, sponsored by the Nigerian Army.
I am Dr. Sandra Agbo, sponsored by the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. Thank you.
I am Abdullah Bello, sponsored by the Office of the National Security Advisor.
I am Comrade Lumumba Igotemu Okubawa, sponsored by the Presidency.
I am Group Captain M.S. Wakili, sponsored by the Nigerian Air Force.
I am
Sikiru Kole Rufai, sponsored by the Chartered Institute of Directors.
I am Ebere Nene Ibekaku, sponsored by the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation.
I am Colonel W.J. Kure, sponsored by the Nigerian Army.
I am Sunday Beatrice, sponsored by the presidency.
I am Malam Ibrahim Lambata, sponsored by the presidency.
I am Chief Commissioner of Police, Ado Ibrahim, sponsored by Nigerian Police Force.
I am Dr. Joyce Ubosu, sponsored by the presidency.
I am Comptroller Kenneth Olowo, sponsored by Nigeria Customs Service.
I am Dr. Toyi Sani, sponsored by the presidency.
I am Architect Ibrahim Bala Usman, sponsored by the presidency.
I'm Engineer Ismail Lawan Sharif, sponsored by the Nigerian Society of Engineers.
I am Shaib Bukar, sponsored by the Head of Civil Service of the Federation.
I am Reverend Canon Anama Benjamin Ugochukwu, sponsored by Office of Head of Civil Service of Federation.
I am Colonel I. Kabir, sponsored by Nigerian Army.
I am Akin Fajembimo, sponsored by the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria.
Your Excellency Ma, I am Group Captain M.G. Dili, sponsored by the Nigerian Air Force.
Thank you very much for that self-introduction. Your Excellency, these are the nominees of Senior Executive Course 48, 2026. They are a crop of top technocrats of high intellectual capacity from ministries, departments, and agencies, including the academics, organized private sector, professional bodies, and so on. In the next 10 months, these 105 ladies and gentlemen will conceptualize and come up with policies, recommendations, and workable implementation strategies to address the orange economy and entrepreneurship for sustainable development in Nigeria. Their reports will be presented to Mr. President later in the year during the presidential parley. I believe we have a good and right mix of nominees to achieve the presidential directive. A round of applause for the nominees. The next item on our program is goodwill messages. First is the goodwill message by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mufwan, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, Her Excellency Ngo Josephine Pio, Your Excellency.
The board chairman of the National Institute, the Director General, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, Professor Ayo Omotayo, and management staff of the Institute, the Chief Judge of Plateau State, members of the State Executive Council, the GOC, 3rd Armored Division, and other members of the State Security Council, heads of federal agencies present, the Chairman, Plateau State Council of Chiefs and Airmen, ably represented by the Dagom Roy Hepang, Da Paul Tadi, and other royal fathers that are here, the President, national officers, and members of the Alumni Association of the National Institute, members of the faculty and other staff of the Institute, nominees of the Senior Executive Course 48, 2026, respective invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure and a deep sense of responsibility that I welcome you all to Plateau State and the inauguration of participants of Course 48 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. I am particularly delighted that this important program is anchored on the theme, Orange Economy and Entrepreneurship for Sustainable Development in Nigeria, a subject that speaks directly to our national aspirations for growth, innovation, and inclusive development. Let me begin by commending the management of NIPS for its continued commitment to policy-relevant research, strategic leadership development, and nation building. Over the years, this institute has remained a critical intellectual resource for Nigeria, shaping leaders and ideas that influence governance, economic planning, and social transformation. Distinguished participants, your presence here represents a convergence of experience, intellect, and national service. You have been selected not only for your professional accomplishments, but also for your capacity to contribute meaningfully to Nigeria's development trajectory. The focus on the orange economy is both timely and strategic. The creative economy is no longer peripheral to national development. It is a vital growth frontier, encompassing culture, arts, media, fashion, film, music, tourism, design, and digital innovation, sectors driven by human creativity, talent, and enterprise. The creative economy is not an abstract construct. It is a living, evolving sector that thrives at the intersection of commerce, culture, tourism, and innovation, contributing significantly to GDP while strengthening social cohesion and national identity. For a country like Nigeria, diverse and culturally rich, the opportunities within the creative economy are immense. With the right policies, investment, and institutional support, this sector can generate jobs, empower youths and women, attract global markets, and drive sustainable economic growth beyond traditional resource dependence. In Plateau State, we recognize this potential. Our administration is firmly committed to providing an enabling environment for policy innovation, entrepreneurship, and economic expansion. We believe that governance must create the conditions under which ideas can flourish, businesses can grow, and talents can be transformed into value. Our collaboration with NIPS is therefore strategic. It aligns with our resolve to support evidence-based policy making, rigorous research, and informed executive decision making. We are confident that the insights and recommendations that will emerge from this course will contribute meaningfully to advancing creative industry development, not only in Plateau State, but across Nigeria. Let me assure you that Plateau State will continue to provide a conducive environment for learning, research, and strategic engagement with NIPS. We see this partnership as a mutually beneficial one that strengthens institutional capacity while contributing to national policy discourse and reform. Distinguished participants, I am optimistic that the work you will undertake during this course will help shape policies and strengthen Nigeria's creative economy, stimulate innovation-driven development, and promote inclusive national growth. Once again, I welcome you to Plateau State, the home of peace, tourism, and hospitality. I wish you a productive, enlightening, and fulfilling course. Thank you. I just want to express to you that His Excellency would have wished and loved to be present here for the love and the respect he has for this institute. But he has traveled, he is not around, so he has asked me to represent him, and he wishes you a very, very fruitful deliberation and your stay on the plateau, that you will enjoy your stay here and make the best use of the period you're going to be here. And we want to once again congratulate all of you, the nominees, for your successful nomination, and we wish you well on the plateau. Thank you.
Participants, sit down. Nominees. Can we appreciate once again the special guest of honor? Thank you. The next goodwill message is by the representative of His Royal Majesty, the Jacob Giambuba, Commander of the Federal Republic, ably represented this morning by His Royal Highness Paul Tadi Tok Gomre Haipan. Can we appreciate him?
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Plateau State, who is representing His Excellency, the Governor of Plateau State, and our mother and God, Josephine Chundumpio, the Director General of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, crew, the Director of Research, the Chief Judge of Plateau State. Permit me to lean on the protocol that has been established to send the apology of His Majesty the Bongom Jos, who would have loved to be here. And he has asked me to just give a short goodwill message. I didn't come alone, but he has asked us as members of the Just Joint Traditional Council to come and support the noble cause of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. So we are here with highly respected members of the Just Joint Traditional Council. His Majesty would have come. The weather has not been very favorable for him this morning. And he has asked me to tell you that Plateau State is a very peaceful state, and that please feel comfortable at home. And he says, as I come, and to say this to you, as you embark on your studies, remember that your research and contributions are vital not only to the institute, but to the nation as a whole. Your studies and outcome will shape the future and empower generation to come. Your dedication to advancing knowledge and fostering innovation with the esteemed institution will be truly inspiring. His Majesty has said, congratulations to you as you are inaugurated today as members of Sec 48 2026 of the National Institute. And he has said, please enjoy the weather, enjoy our food, and the hospitable nature of the people of Plateau that will be offered to you. And once more, on behalf of His Majesty, he's saying congratulations. And take the assurance of His Majesty that his doors are open and would continue to contribute and support the activities of the National Institute. And he said, I should tell the DG that whenever his attention is needed, his doors are widely open. Thank you, and God bless you. Congratulations once more.
Can we appreciate the representative of the government? Yes. Now to what the nominees have been waiting for, and perhaps the most important reason why we are here today, which is the administration of inauguration oath on the nominees. And this will be done by the Chief Judge of Plateau State, Honorable Justice David Mann, who is ably represented this morning by Honorable Justice A.I. Ashom. May I now request all the nominees to stand up to take the oath. The legal people will give you the oath form, if not already given, and you are requested to put your name, and after the inauguration, you append your signature. I'm directed to inform you that when you go through the oath form and you are not convinced, it is not compulsory you sign. We're not forcing you to sign, but the moment you sign the form, it is binding on you. Thank you. May I now request the representative of the Chief Judge of Plateau State to the podium. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Plateau State, ably representing the Executive Governor of Plateau State, I seek to take shelter under the established protocol. The anchor of this program has stated briefly what I would have told the very esteemed participants. Obviously, oath-taking can not be new to any one of you. Suffice it to simply remind you, most respectfully, an oath, according to the Black's Law Dictionary, 9th edition, is a solemn declaration which is accompanied by a swearing to God that one's statement is true, or that one will be bound by the promise. The person making the oath, which is you people, implicitly invites punishment unto yourselves if the statement is untrue or if the promise therein is broken. So that is just the import of oath taking. So the mode of the auto administration, we will all read after me. Then you will mention your name, and then we read on. I do solemnly affirm to fulfill the best of my ability this oath. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies and Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will protect and defend the rules and regulations operational in the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies. That I will abide by the code of conduct existing as may from time to time be prescribed by the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. During my stay as a participant of the Senior Executive Course number 48 in the National Institute. That as a Nigerian dedicated in the cause of maintenance of law and order, I will do right to all persons while a participant in the National Institute and even thereafter, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. I will not directly or indirectly allow my personal consideration to jeopardize or override the general purpose for which the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies is duly established under the law. So help me God. Please accept the warm greetings and congratulations of His Lordship, the Honorable Chief Judge. Thank you.
Please be seated. May I request to give the representative of the Chief Judge of Plateau State another round of applause. So congratulations to the participants of Senior Executive Course 48, 2026. Next on the program is the address and formal inauguration of Senior Executive Course 48, 2026 by our special guest of honor, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mufwan, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, Her Excellency Ngo Josephine Pio. Your Excellency. With a round of applause, please.
It is therefore my honor to inaugurate the Senior Executive Course 48, 2026 to the glory of God Almighty and for the benefit of humanity. Congratulations. You are no longer nominees, but participants. May God see you through in Jesus' name.
Please be seated. Can you give another round of applause to our special guest of honor? Once again, congratulations to participants of Senior Executive Course 48, 2026. We are gradually winding down on the program this morning. After the national anthem, participants are to file out and get ready for the group photograph at the photo stand. After the group photograph, there will be light refreshment for our dignitaries at the foyer that will be led by the Director General, while other invited guests will take theirs inside the Directorate of Studies building. The participants, you know where you take your refreshment. Now, the national anthem. Thank you very much. This brings us to the end of this program this morning. Participants, file out and move to the photo stand. You'll be joined later by the special guest of honor and other